Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, do you have a book in you that is screaming to get out? You'll meet a very successful publisher who's published more than 1,500 titles in the last decade. His incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, there's an old saying in the book world. It's called the one-day novel. I'm going to write a novel one day, and that day never comes. And then you wake up and you're retired and you're saying, why did I never get around to writing that book? Well, somebody who's going to change your thoughts on that is my next guest. He's a very successful publisher. He's helped people, some 1,500 titles. Darren Palmer. He's with Self-Published in 30 Days. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on, Jeff. It's a pleasure and honor to be in your presence.
Well, I'm honored to have you on the show, and I'm a huge fan of self-publishing. I think, the book world has changed quite a bit in the last few decades, where you truly can't tell the difference between a book that was made by one of the big, expensive New York publishing houses or a locally produced book.
No, it's so true. When you think about it, Jeff, one of the components of the world is started off, I call it the seasoned approach, or aged, a marinated approach. With a little bit of time, that's traditional publishing. That's the thing that we grew up on. You saw it on TV, the great story that someone wrote down. They were just like Ernest Hemingway in Havana, Cuba, looking out the window, looking at the beautiful ocean, the scenic views, and they wrote the book, and then it finally was picked up by the publisher. They were able to get that advancement and get some funds, and they were able to go out and make a positive impact in the world. That, to fast forward, has changed somewhat, what we call self-published. Now, self-published, some people got afraid at first because it was just like when you started what you're doing, Jeff. Oh, wait a minute, what is this? This is not the stereotypical thing that we're used to. This is unconventional. This is radical. So those who are changing the world know that they have to be bold. Fortune favors the bold. So when we start looking at this and understanding that self-published was able to be good, but people were taking shortcuts, Jeff. So just like you have been able to do with this amazing company that you've been able to create for business owners just like me to be able to share our message with the world, that's what self-publishing did, but they needed to be tightened up. They needed efficiency. They needed to be equipped. They needed to be empowered to do it professionally. So that's where companies like ours, Self-Published in 30 Days, came in to create a best of both worlds approach, where you can have the professionalism with the traditional approach, but also you're able to have control of your intellectual property and over the increasing of your profits to be able to scale your businesses.
Sure, and there's a lot of misconceptions out there. People think they're gonna, be the next J.K. Rowling and get a big book advance. And the truth is, unless you're a celebrity, you're not getting the big book advance. And then they take all the money, and you're left with the promise of a royalty check that might never come.
Oh my goodness! And just with that being said, it's a big company out there that's that people purchase books on and things like that. But if you look at that and they want to say that you got it on there, and there's nothing wrong with having it on that particular program or that website where people can purchase your products. But the catch is this: it's over 90 days before you even get a royalty check. And you really don't know what you got a royalty check on. But I don't know about you, Jeff. I like to know and have clarity. A wise man told me this, Jeff, that wherever you have clarity of vision, you have acceleration to the known goal. So we have to make sure that we're able to accelerate, because if you're driving in the fog, you slow down. But when the fog lifts, you're able to accelerate. And so by having control over your profits, over the impact, and then let's just look at it for what it is. We are in a day, it's not about customer service anymore. We was talking about this before we came onto the show. It's about a customer experience. So when you create an experience for people that leads to referrals, now you're able to reduce your marketing budget and create an opportunity to be able to pack more people because it's word of mouth, and it goes further than your ad campaign.
Amen. You're preaching to the choir. So we're going to pull up his website, and as we scroll down the website, I want you to talk about the very beginning. So you started this company in 2012?
Yes, sir. 2012 started Self-Publishing 30 Days. It wasn't even Self-Publishing 30 Days at that time. I was in the speaking market. I realized that, hey, man, this needs some new blood. I was just able to see him as January of this year, and he's still fiery. Les Brown, which is a mentor, but Les said, you got to be hungry. So I love seeing that. But I was like, man, Les is kind of getting up there. So at least it can be a spot for me with 8.5 billion people. But with that, I had a mentor that shared with me. He's like, Darren, you need to put the book out. I put it out. And after that, Jeff, people were coming at the back of the rooms and they were saying, hey, Darren, I got a story. I got something that I want to share. It's some things that I need to put out into the world that I feel like that I'm called to do. And to be honest with you, I was like, well, I don't really have anything to help you. But mentorship and also masterminds, make sure that you write that down. Masterminds were important for me because I had somebody that was able to see something from a 30-foot view that I couldn't see. And he was able to share it with me. He said, Darren, if somebody tell you something 3 times, you create a product. Don't go and focus on all the beta testing. Create some variation of it, something that you can come as a template to put out there and then take and see what worked, what was the pros and what was the cons. So that's how I got started in it. And it morphed from a course and morphed into our landing page, then a full website. And then we started creating all the services as we saw the needs of our people. And we have a method called B Squared, book to business, where we're 7-figure entrepreneurs and impact and those who want to create change, influencers. And we help them share their story because we understand their busy schedule. And so that's the difference. Somebody can be in British Lit and pass it, and they can edit great, but they don't have the business acumen. So we were able to put the best of both worlds together to be able to help our clients be able to scale their nonprofits or their for-profit organizations.
All right, what's one of your favorite success stories?
One of my favorite success stories is a gentleman by the name of Matt Sapala. Matt Sapala created a book called Faith Made Millionaire. He also has another publication called The 5 Gotchas, where he's dealing with some of the things financially that's happening to people, especially with the baby boomers. Others are finding out, I don't have enough Social Security. My pension is gone. It's like a unicorn now. If you do have one, God bless you, but most people don't have it. And they're wondering where did their money go to, like who ate my cheese. So the reason why Matt met in Palm Beach, we were at Breakers, and we're at Breakers Hotels for another mastermind event. And we're going around the table and I'm sharing what I do. And then it gets to him, he's about the 4th or 5th person. He says, Darren, I've been working on the book for over 12 years. Man, I got to give you a call. There's no way that you're at this table. I've been trying to get the book. And since then, the right information changes situations. Changes situation. And so he was able to have that applied knowledge, which is the actual power. Not knowledge is power, but applied knowledge. So he was coachable. We're able to get it done. We had the regiment. We got the systems there to align with his schedule with over 15, 20,000 agents that he has. And we were able to help him accelerate the process. Now he's knocking out at least 1 to 2 books per year.
Wow, that's amazing. And that helps with your speaking career. It helps with media interviews. It helps with everything, doesn't it?
Oh, man, you can't beat it. I mean, he's on Fox. He's on so many things because of the book. And this is something for those out there who are business owners and leaders that you need to keep in mind. They are looking for the expert. When they have a special segment, when we talk about free PR or publicity, when they need someone to speak about certain things, if you are known as the expert in that particular arena, they're going to reach out and call upon you. And so now it gives you not only the moral authority to speak on it, now you are a credible representative that they want to bring in. They want easy work. They want layups. So they can be able to get somebody who's vetted. How do they know that you're vetted? Because you wrote the book on it. Mm-hmm. So I have to share this with you, Jeff. This is a separator. For those business owners and leaders out there, you have to keep this in mind. Who are you going to go with? If I'm looking at if my mom or somebody that I love and care about need the best health, I'm not going to ask, do you have any discounts? I'm going to say, hey, I want you to go to the best place. I want you to go to the Mayo Clinic. I want to go to the top place. Why? Because that person is priceless in my life. When people are looking at investing, they're not caught up on discounts for the right clients, the ideal clients. They're looking at who can I count on that can get the job done so I can continue to run my business, my organizations, have time with the family that I desire, that I love to be with? How can I do that? And those are the things that give people peace of mind instead of them trying to slap some stuff together and throw it up, because a book can be an asset to you, but it also can be a liability to you. So if you go and you cut corners, just like it is by having a wonderful establishment. I love Jeff, and why I was even able to connect and do business with one of his businesses is because the element, the wow factor. I'm leveraging this to when a client comes in and they see this beautiful place that we're able to create the content in, they're able to share. Do you know how that separates me from me just being in a hole in a wall and just kind of just grabbing a mic from Staples or something and then saying I'm doing a podcast? That's what you present by what you put out into the world.
Thank you. You're being very kind. This show is about you, not about me. But thank you for that. We're going to show, he just launched a podcast on our network, and I want to show the graphic. One, I love the illustration. I mean, you look like
Thank you, Jeff.
Look like $1 million, maybe $2 or $3 million, to be honest with you. So tell us about the show.
Okay, so it's the Books and Business podcast, and some of the things that we have leveraged and been able to benefit over the years of being in business with our clients, we're really tapping into that B-squared method, that books to business method. How do I leverage this? I remember a coach that we worked with, and he had just won a national championship, and he had an organization, but he had 2 books. So when he came to us, he said, I got this leadership book that I want to do. I was like, wait a minute, calm down, man. Let's process this. You just won a national championship. So, hey, the season just ended. So by the time they have the ring ceremony, I know this book isn't developed yet, but we have the systems in place. So let's talk about how you took that program. It was from chumps to champs. So we took that. And so when all the media was there in that particular area in Florida and they were doing the ring ceremony, he was able to take advantage of all that press, and so many more books were sold. So it even led to him later on in life, because he did that book, that when the pandemic hit, he had a college that actually called him. They didn't even have a program running. They paid him for over 2 years to just help develop the program. And they didn't even play basketball because of what he had done with the book. And they told him in the hiring process, the decision that we made was because of what you did with the book. We know that not only are you a coach, you are a person that will invest into the community and be an asset to this university. So those are just some of the unique things that we talk about, is how to leverage that. Because he could have put the same book. Now, somebody who's just an editor or somebody who's just printing books, if you told them and you had the funds and you said, this is my investment, I want this book, they wouldn't say anything different. And we need allies, not just friends. We need people to hold us accountable to see the 2.0 version of ourselves, Jeff.
Well, Darren, I can see why you're so wildly successful. His show is very popular, and it looks like you have a lot of fun. We found a little promo. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Y'all, man, we had a good podcast on Books and Business Podcast. He says I'm a myth. No, this guy's a legend, man. Man, tell me, who are you, man? Who are you?
Man, Darren Palmer, Chief Book Officer of Self-Published in 30 Days and the host of the Books and Business Podcast with the real man, myth, and legend, Mr. Liddell.
I don't know about
Stay
that,
tuned
man.
for that episode. I mean, he went there. I'm grateful for him. And I'm also going to get some of that gear, too. I got that bag. University, baby. Let's go.
Was it good, though, man? Was it a good podcast?
It was a great podcast, phenomenal. The things that I loved about it was his transparency of showing you what real value is, and also how to deal with faith, family, finances, and the whole nine. So many people are having myths or fables when it comes to doing business, and the real way to get out of what you're snared in is through entrepreneurship, free market capitalism. But you got to be transparent. You got to have the faith lined out. You got to have the family lined out, and you got to know how to move forward and add value. And he's doing it internationally, nationally, and locally. So, man, this is what you want to be. You got to be around people who doing it. So I surround my people with greats like this man right here.
Man, y'all heard it from him, y'all. Y'all stay blessed.
All right, be blessed. Peace.
Well, it's clear that you just have fun with your guests. While we're looking at that show, what was the show about?
This show is about a business owner that does development for his real estate by the name of Liddell Buggs. And the podcast was important because this is imperative for those who are listening, because there will be trials and tribulations on this journey of success. And I know everybody looks great. All of us can't look as good as Jeff, so I don't know how he do it. I got to connect with him, how he keeps doing it. The man is stylish, he's a profiler, but I'm saying this because he was talking about the loss of a child and how his family was able to stay strong and continue to advance and continue to do business because it was lives to impact in honor of that child. So those out there who are listening to this, keep in mind that there will be a toll road to be able to actually pay and invest in for this journey for your success, but it's so worth it for us the impact that you're making across the globe. So that's what we were talking about on that show. So we was having fun. Even with that, it was laughter because it's worth it. So if you're fighting and you're thinking like, why you're dealing with so much, I'm telling you, it's worth it.
And some people will compare it to the birth of a child, and I don't think that's a stretch. I remember seeing my book come off the printer and holding it for the first time. Will you talk about the reaction when you give somebody their book for the first time?
Oh, it's amazing. I know when the baby analogy is important. You know when that baby come out, they clean the baby up, and then you go to the glass, and everyone's able to look, and it's that wow factor. That's how it is when you're getting that book off the printing press, and you surprise somebody. It's like, wow, this was able to be manifested. This was an idea. This was something that was daunting, and now it has become doable, and they have an appreciation. And I want to leave with this. To see what it has done for families and businesses, it's priceless. I saw a young man show up at his dad's book lunch with 2 pieces of paper, and this young kid came and he said, "Dad, this is my book. I'm going to be an author just like you." Those moments, Jeff, are the things that no amount of funds can replace. That's what real relationships are about. The difference between contacts and contracts, ladies and gentlemen, is the letter R, and that's for relationships. Keep that in mind and be blessed.
Wow, that is a great way to end this segment. We're also going to leave you with his website, which is selfpublishin30days.com. The great Darren Palmer. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet.
Yes, sir.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.